New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
This is What's Up and Why, bringing you the bright side of life, one fun moment at a time. Brought to you by the New Thought Media Network. Please put your hands together for your hosts, Rev Casey Taylor and Miss B Lovely.
Yay! Clap it up for us. I love I was wearing this hat in the intro. Obviously, I love rocking this hat. Hey, B Lovely.
Hey, Rev Casey Taylor. I see you looking real cozy today. How you be?
That's the best question ever. How I be? I noticed that today is the first day. The first day, as I looked ahead, as I woke up this morning, I was noticing that everything on my calendar was exactly what I wanted to be on my calendar. Like, I feel like I'm just doing good big things in the world. Our center is moving to a new location, and today was just our exit interview, and our exit interview, and that meeting went fantastic. We had this show coming up right after that meeting, and this afternoon I mentioned to you offline, that I am running for the leadership council for the Centers for Spiritual Living global organization, and I'm recording that video interview later today. I am showing up for a retreat planning meeting for Queerly Beloved that's going to be in Ann Arbor, Michigan. That's later today, and me and my bonus son are gonna take a ride to Lakeside Market and pick up some mushroom lattes and like play with some goats. So like it's just like a day that's like jam packed with like meetings and fun and connection, and planting seeds in the world. So I'm feeling really, really good. Confetti and champagne all around. Like,
hey, I love that. I love that. Let's all wish Rev Casey Taylor, good luck on their interview today. You got this. You're going to rock it. Like, I've been knowing you for years, and you have such an amazing personality, and you are really, really amazing with words, which is why it's perfect that you're a reverend. So I'm very sure you're going to do well.
I appreciate it so much. You've been knowing me for years. You've been knowing me your whole life. I was around when you were born. I remember when you were a baby.
I remember you around that time, Hunty, okay? Because, so
your whole life, all these years.
We are like, how many? I know we're like at least a decade apart, maybe add a few
years. I'm 13 years older than you.
13 years older than me. We grew up on two different sides of America. And even though you watched me when I was like, a wee lad is a little boy, so a little tot. We didn't really connect with each other until I was graduating from high school, when, I reached out asking for like advice and all that stuff. And I always remember that conversation because like growing up in the South with family members, like you're just always taught, like, you're supposed to end a conversation with saying, I love you and stuff. And so I said that, and he's like, yeah, we don't have to do that. And I was like, oh, snap.
Oh, I was such a jerk in those days. This is definitely Rev Casey. Such a jerk in those days.
I'm glad that you did that though, because like it was a lesson for me, like, because even I kind of felt like uncomfortable saying it, because like this was our first real conversation with each other after a few years, but it was like instilled in me and stuff. So it was like I felt like I kind of had to, but that was like the first time I was like, you know what, you kind of don't have to do something just because traditionally you're supposed to, but if you don't feel like you have to, you don't have to do it. So I'm glad that you stood on that, because it taught me, hey, if your gut is telling you maybe I shouldn't do this, listen to the gut.
I love that we both remember that conversation so clearly and remember such different things from it. Like I have a clear memory of standing in my bedroom when I lived in my condo in Chicago, and just pacing my bedroom having this conversation with you. And like, I had this agenda. I really wanted you to go to college in Chicago. I did not want you to go to college where you ended up, but had this really, it's nice for me to look back at that conversation and think about how much I led with control. That I've been talking about this on the show the last couple of weeks while you've been out doing big things in the world, be lovely. How I've really been learning these lessons of how fully ingrained this quality of control is within me, and really just trying to heal it one moment, one breath at a time. And I'm grateful for the way
Mhm.
I've grown since that conversation that we had back when we were 18.
I know, right? So much has changed. And like you said, like I have been doing big things in the world. I've been doing a lot of work, a lot of planning for like this big project that I'm a part of at work that has to deal with the Olympics. Can't get into too many details, but it has really shown me it's one of the most challenging projects I've ever taken on, but it's challenging in a good way because it's forcing me to get out of my comfort zone. And I'm just seeing like, wow, I really have what it takes. Like I really am that girl and not to doubt myself. And, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm engaging, I feel great. I'm getting amazing recognition that I wasn't expecting. But I'm loving the fact that I took a leap of faith. And even though I was afraid taking on this project, part of me wanted to be like, no, there's too much responsibility. But I'm glad that I did because it's helping me to really like grow and evolve, like not just in my career, but in my personal life with my personality and everything that I'm trying to do and work towards. So I'm very grateful. And I just want to encourage anybody, don't be afraid to take the leap of faith. If something seems really scary to do, that's usually because it's a good thing to do because it's going to help elevate you to the next level of your life that requires more from you.
That is beautiful advice. As I'm thinking about our theme, Confetti and Champagne, that was inspired by Mariah's song on the album Here for It All, that I think we have a tendency culturally to think of confetti and champagne, that experience of a party of celebration of things going right and things being easy. But to dedicate this episode to recognizing that we are celebrating the challenges in our lives, the way that we're out of our comfort zones to grow, to recognize that that is the best
Mhm.
way to grow, is to step out of our comfort zone and know that the challenges that were presented serve as an opportunity for that growth, and celebrating it instead of criticizing it or feeling bogged down or held down by our challenges, that we're celebrating them with champagne and confetti. I'm a fan.
Yes, I'm celebrating with my spicy pineapple margarita mocktail. I did not know that a mocktail could be so delicious, but there are some things that we really should be celebrating that I want to get into real quick. Can we do that
Please do. Yes,
before we get into
yes.
like our segment? So,
Let's
first
do
things
it.
first, it's the holiday season, and we know when the holidays comes around, what is the soundtrack of the holidays?
It has to be All I Want for Christmas Is You, Mariah's 2 Christmas albums on repeat. Yes, yes.
So, Mariah Carey, okay? It went number 1 again. She
Of course it
is
did.
now tied, right? She of course. She is
Yeah.
now tied. The song what is it? It's back at number 1, so now it's now tied for like the longest number 1 record ever on Billboard Hot 100. And if she's tied with what? Shabuzi's a bar song, Tipsy, Old Town Road, and there's another song that's up there
Is
that's
it
at 19.
Despacito by Justin Bieber?
Yes, yes, and that all of them were number 1 for 19 weeks, including All I Want for Christmas Is You. If it stays at number 1 into next week, it will reach 20 weeks, and she will be the only artist, male or female, to ever have one of the longest running songs. And Mariah actually posted a throwback video of an interview that she did when she was promoting the album,
I
and the
watched that. Yes, I saw
yes,
that.
and it's like it's such a cool thing to see somebody have a full circle moment, especially when you know about Mariah's story about her rise and how the industry tried to turn its back on her and blackball her and get her out of here. But she stayed true to who she was. She continued making her music, and you know people are appreciating her and celebrating her. And I'm just really, really happy that she's having this full circle moment, like this song that she made back in what it was released in 94. So I'm assuming it was made in 93. And here it is, 2025. That is a big deal. So we're doing confetti and champagne for Mimi on that front.
What stuck out for me from that interview was whoever the interviewer was, I did not recognize him, said, do you hope that this song becomes a Christmas classic? And she was like, of course, that would be my dream. I don't imagine that would happen. That it's incredibly unlikely. But yes, of course, that would be my dream. And so to see her 1994 version of herself, like, that's unlikely. And to be here 25 some odd years later, like seeing this has truly become the Christmas classic that she couldn't even imagine at that time is really kind of incredible.
Yeah, and it just makes me think like, do we have instances? I know for me, like I have an instance like that in my life where I had a full circle moment. Like in the station that I'm at now, I was thinking about when I was leaving work after getting like the vice president shouted me out in the newsroom today before I left, saying, "Oh, she's the greatest." And I was like, "Oh, that is so kind." But I remember when I was getting ready for my interview for my very first station. I was interviewing to be a production assistant and an editor at a very small station, only making $11 an hour. And I remember I woke up at like 4 or 5 in the morning to like get myself prepared because I had a 2 hour drive to get to the station. And I turned on the TV and the station that I'm working at now was on. And I remember praying and I was like, God, if you could just make it possible, I don't know how, I don't know when, but please allow me to be able to come back home and work at this station. And today, when I was leaving, I was thinking, wow, here I am. That was in 2016 when I did that prayer. And I've been at this job now since 2020. And I'm like, this is such a blessing. So, do you have like any full circle moments like that in
I
your life?
do. I'm gonna share two of them. This is such a good question. Is when I was I was an assistant in Hollywood for like I would say about 7 years in unscripted television, and I wanted to work in scripted. I hated reality TV, didn't want anything to do with it, and had been working in it for 6 years by that point. So not only did I want to move to scripted, but I wanted to be in a position of an executive. And I was like, this is impossible. And it really felt like I was in this make or break moment of should I walk away from this industry altogether because getting to where I want to go is going to take me so much longer. And somebody prayed with me. Somebody was like, you know what? God's bigger than what you think you can do. So if you want to be a scripted TV executive, let's just pray on that right now. We prayed together, and within 1 year, I was a scripted TV executive at Viola Davis's production company. Also unscripted as well, which was pretty cool that my unscripted experience was valuable and helpful in that experience. So that was number one. Number two is where I am right now. I've been living consciously from prioritizing rest. I was just journaling about this with the Shit Talker program.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up that there's a in making peace with your inner shit talker. There's a question: do you prioritize rest? And back in my Hollywood days, I did not. Hollywood is not a culture of rest, and I could not imagine a life where I could prioritize rest, where I could prioritize my mental and physical health and well-being and enjoy my life, really just live a life of joy and freedom. And today, as senior minister of United Life Center for Spiritual Living, as I shared of how I'm doing, how my day looks like this best day ever life that I imagined for myself, I wanted to write, I wanted to speak, I wanted to make a positive impact in my community. Just last Saturday, I emceed a food pantry fundraiser, and they're like, please do this for us every year. I did it last year, so it was like 2 years in a row. I like it. The community likes it. It's a way for me to give back and support this community, providing this food pantry within the community. All I got to do is show up and MC their party once a year. Fab, So it's really been beautiful how, like, even Saturday, I'm about to MC a drag show. Never saw myself doing that, but whatever. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm wearing, but I'm going to tell you that I am closing with All I Want for Christmas Is You. I am doing that. But even, like, beautiful. How beautiful is it that as a minister, I get to MC a drag show and close it out with Mariah? Like, come on now. Living the dream. Full circle moment. Thank you for introducing this concept. Be lovely.
Yes, and I just want to take this moment for anybody who's tuning in to really think about what it is that is on your heart that you want to do, what it is that you want to accomplish. Don't wait until 2026, to make New Year's resolutions. You can make those, those goals, those resolutions right now, and just really think about what it is that you want, what it is that you're desiring, what it is that you're hoping for, whether it is that you pray, whether it is that you meditate or you manifest. Really just lock in on that vision, really see and imagine and visualize yourself being in that moment wherever it is that you want to be. And I promise you it is going to happen. That every single time I have done that, I pray for it first, and I pray for it continually. I do visioning where like I write in my journal and like write as if I'm in that moment right then and there, and what I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing, what I'm seeing. And I also just like keep that vision in my heart, in my mind. And because I don't know if it's because like I am working as if I already have it. And so I guess the opportunity comes to me like I'm being magnetic and attracting it. But that is how it works for me. And I just, I want to encourage anybody, if there's anything on your heart, something that you want to do, something that you want, try to make space for it mentally and in your heart. And I promise you, if you do that, you're going to attract it. It may not happen today, it may not happen tomorrow, but it will happen, and you will have that full circle moment.
Be lovely. What you just said is exactly what we teach here at United Life CSL. That's the Centers for Spiritual Living organization that I'm running for the Leadership Council on. That is the premise of who we are as a spiritual organization. So I love that you just laid it all out like that. And I had a really opposite situation. Not because the law of attraction doesn't work. It absolutely works. My opposite situation had to do with the fact that I lead with control. So I had my vision was what I thought the world should look like, as opposed to what I actually needed, what was right and good for me, where the right perfect places were for me. So I was going around manifesting all these things, and they were coming into my life and coming into being, but they were not working out. So what I recognized is that I need to take some time, listen to what is right for me. I never imagined myself as a senior minister in Oklahoma City. I promise that was never on anybody's vision board, not at all. But it ultimately, I heard this call on my heart that this was the place where I was meant to be, and I didn't run from it. I'd learned to listen to my intuition and trust it to guide me. So I've learned that manifesting things like it doesn't, it's not even a thing. It's things like I moved recently. I knew it was time to move. That landlord called me up in the moment that I needed it and was like, hey, you want this apartment that absolutely fits all your goals? I didn't have to think about it. I have to put it on any vision board. It was like, this is what I need. I'm just gonna let it come to me. And I didn't even
Yeah.
know. But that's what happens when we're in alignment with our intuition, what is ours to do with our divine calling, versus when we're like, my life should look like this, the world should look like this. So that's what I do in the winter. I listen. I set my goals in the spring, and I listen in the winter. I rest and I
I
listen.
like that. I like that. You rest and you listen. Now, I've been hearing a lot about people saying like the winter time, especially with daylight savings and it gets darker, is a time for us to slow down, to reflect and look inward, and to rest a lot more. And that's something that I really want to try to do. I've been like full speed ahead because of this big project that I'm working on. But I do feel like I've been prioritizing rest when I can, like taking a little quick nap and stuff here and there and stuff. But one thing that I've been doing recently since I like entered my early 30s is really listening to my intuition, listening to that gut feeling. Like as a Christian, I refer to it as like listening to the Holy Spirit that lives in me. But it can also be called, your intuition, that gut feeling. And I always look back in times like when I was a teenager in my early 20s when I would have that gut feeling and I'd be like, no, you're just being paranoid and just ignore it. And you should have listened to it. So listening to your body, listening to, that feeling that you get, that can really help you out in the long run.
I hear you. I am not a Christian, and I also call that voice, that intuition, that Holy Spirit that communicates with me as well. And
Mhm.
honestly, I've been reading the Bible lately, and through reading the Bible, I feel like I see my beliefs reflected in it. I like that as I'm reading it, this is what I believe. I think that I interpret it differently than many other Christians do, and that's cool. Like
Mhm.
that's the I think the beauty of spirituality is that I don't have
Yeah.
to take on the mainstream interpretation of what this book means, that I get to read it from a place of listening to my intuition and trusting it to guide me. And I'm gonna be real honest that my relationship with my intuition was rocky through most of my life because I felt like my intuition stayed leading me in the wrong direction. I was like, what happened? I trusted you. I literally, the other day, I just watched this movie. It's called Celestine Prophecy. And it's really about how it's about listening to your intuition and trusting it to guide you. And
Mhm.
this man, the main character, figures it out and is at a road and is like just listening for his intuition to guide him which road to take. He takes this road that his intuition leads him on and he gets captured immediately. And I was like, that's what used to happen with me. But after he gets captured, the place they take him to was exactly where he needed to be. All the people he was looking for were right there. And I was thinking, what happened with me is I was looking at my intuition like you sent me off. I didn't think about how my intuition guided me, that this thing that looked like it was bad led me to where I need to go. I was always focused on the fact that it felt like my intuition set me off. So I didn't trust it. And looking at my intuition from the long haul, recognizing your intuition plays the long game. So sometimes it directs you somewhere and you're like, this led me to a car accident, but that car accident led to A, B, and C that would have never happened. And I'm still focused on the fact of the accident instead of the A, B, and C as a result. So
Mhm.
recognizing the long game of my intuition was key for me. That's what I had to do.
Mm. That's really good. That's really good. And I'm actually like, while you was talking and everything, like I was thinking about, what do you have an excerpt or something from your making piece with your inner shit talker program that you can, lead us and the viewers into?
I think that that question that I just said of do you prioritize rest? Our producer today, Tasha Salinas, is a rock star. And so I'm confident that she could put do you prioritize rest right up on the screen as a banner at some point. She's a superstar. But that is this section is called rest and shit. And
Rest in shit.
shit because it's shit talker. So like, and
Yeah.
and I'm glad that you're like laughing at that because originally that section was called "Rest is Revolutionary," and I realized that that was my own objective. Like, I would love for us as a culture, as a country, to shift to prioritizing rest and like upending the way capitalism works and just like let's just choose rest. Let's demand these organizations that we work for give us the siestas that they get in Spain, like let's come together and do that. But I'm still realizing that that's like my objective and my agenda. So this is just these 4 days of questions about rest. Do you prioritize rest? What does your inner shit talker have to say about rest? That's what I wrote about today. My inner shit talker only likes rest for the purposes of physical healing. Like when I'm sick,
Mhm.
my inner shit talker is like, yep, we're on board, lay down, don't do anything. But when it comes to just like a regular day where my energy is just not it, where I'm not feeling it, my inner
Uh-huh.
shit talker is very much like, get your ass up and do whatever. And my
Yeah.
inner wisdom got to come in and be like, sit your ass down, shit talking Karen. We are prioritizing rest here and now. And so, like, I've had to make peace with my inner shit talker, no longer giving it my power so that I'm not forcing myself to do things that are not the right thing for me to do. My body is
Yeah.
telling me to rest. My mind is telling me to rest. So that's what I do now. And that's new.
I had to do the same thing because I used to have a negative stigma on the whole. I grown up with a mother as a teacher. I'm sure you can maybe attest to this. Like my mother always had me feeling like I had to keep my foot on my neck. Like even if like you're being successful, doing all the things, there's no time for rest. 'Cause it's like, okay, you did all this. It's time to jump to the next thing. It's time to jump to the next level. Okay, you accomplished this. no, you're not sitting down. You got to keep going, full steam ahead and stuff. And it got to a point where I was really burning myself out. But thankfully, through me growing up and being a little bit more mature in my mind and not having to like realizing that I didn't have to always listen to what my mother said. And then also realizing that rest is also productive, because if you don't let your body rest, your body is going to make you rest, and it's not
Yes.
going to be at the time that you want it to be. You do not want your body to force you to sit down. And so like rest is a time for your body to rejuvenate, is a time for you to be able to cultivate new ideas and everything. And I had to remove that negative stigma of seeing rest as, oh, I'm being lazy, I'm wasting time, I'm wasting opportunity, to no, this is actually my new things can evolve from me being rejuvenated in this time.
Yes, there are two things that you said that really stood out to me. One is the fact that this quality came from your mother. I find that Black women are socialized to work twice as hard because
Yes.
they needed to. The generation that our mothers grew up in, they had to work twice as hard. So they taught us those same values for the purposes of our survival. And in 2020, I realized that I no longer needed to work twice as hard as my white counterparts. The other thing that I learned very, very recently is that when this country was originally formed, when slavery was abolished, that the government created these propaganda campaigns targeted to Black folks about laziness. There were all of these things about of encouraging, using advertising to encourage Black folks not to be lazy. And really the purpose of that, as you just said about the value of rest in brewing, is that Black folks were socialized to participate in the capitalistic machine, to use our bodies until they are that, because we weren't fifths of a person, that we were really thought of as commodities to the country, to the leaders of this country, and they intentionally socialized Black folks to burn themselves out for the capitalistic machine. And so this is why I say rest is a revolution, is because when we choose to prioritize rest, you have the ability to make more money because you're not burning yourself out for this corporation, because you recognize there's an opportunity for you to do much bigger things. And I think part of the reason why you are killing it at work and getting all of these this attention and accolades is because you're doing this work, because you're resting, because you're brewing, because you are breaking generational trauma and curses by being recognizing that we no longer have to work twice as hard as like our mothers did to survive. That's incredible.
That is incredible. Like, shout out to us being able to real and getting to this point in life where we don't have to work twice as hard, where we don't have to do things that we don't want to do. We have a choice to do what it is that we want to do, and we're not being forced to do anything.
For sure.
Mhm.
As we are in the last 2 minutes of our episode, be lovely. I would invite you, if you have any little closing state. You always have the best closing statements. Like, you can drop in gems at the ends of our episodes. And I would love to invite you to pray out as well. But if you don't want to do that, feel free to pass it to me after you drop your gem for us.
Okay, so I'm going to drop the gem and then allow you to pray us out, because I just really love your prayers. Just going back on what we were talking about earlier, do not be afraid to dream out loud. Like, I like to say that I am very delusionally positive and I love to dream big, because I just believe that in this world I deserve all of the good things, and all the good things are going to come to me. So if there's anything that you're wanting, anything that you're hoping for, anything that you want to accomplish, believe that you already have it, believe that you've already done it, believe that you're already holding it, experiencing it, and I promise you it is going to come. But you have to really believe it, you have to see it, you have to have that vision. And every day, just know I'm getting closer and closer to that. And I promise you, you're going to attract it. It's going to come to you. It's going to surprise you, and you're going to have a full circle moment. And you got to come back to the show and let us know. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. I love that. So wherever we are, whatever it is we're doing, regardless of what our own understanding of God, source, spirit is, I'm grateful that we are participating in this experience of prayer together, that we are participating in our own versions of a full circle moment, that wherever we are in the circle, we are exactly where we are meant to be, that we have received all of the wisdom and insight we need to live that, to dream big and live that life of our dreams. I'm grateful to know that it is available to us. And I'm grateful that the New Thought Media Network leads with this message, offering programming across the schedule that leads with this concept and this idea. So I'm grateful for all that manifests for us as a result of engaging in this What's Up and Why and New Thought Media Network content together. And in gratitude, I invite us to close this prayer however we are most comfortable. I choose to close by saying, and so it is.
Amen. That's been another episode of What's Up and Why. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Miss Be Lovely.
And I am Rev Casey Taylor. Have the best day ever.